Yeah, so there's no like nothing comparable to PBR, but I know you and I were just talking about like football camps. Um, so in terms of like football camps and recruiting camps, I told you I'm pretty passionate about that. I think you got to be very careful when you're looking at football camps and evaluating which camps to go to because like you guys said, there's a lot of camps where you can go and you're paying a lot of money and you might not get a lot out of it. Um, and for me, I tell everybody go to camps that have as many coaches as possible. So like one camp I went to was New England Elite Camp. It was a 3-day camp. There were like 1,000 kids, which is intimidating, but there's 150 plus coaches. So you're going to get access to 150 coaches. A lot of the schools have multiple coaches there. Compare it to like a D3 prospect camp, right? Division 3, that's where they get a lot of their money from. That goes toward new uniforms, new facilities, new weight rooms. I don't want to say they're a money maker, but you got to be careful if a coach reaches out to you on like Twitter or email, like, hey, come to our camp, and it's just those coaches there. You're probably not going to get much interest unless you're in their top 3 or 4 guys that they want. So you got to be a little careful. I think a lot of them can be not money makers, but waste of time.
Right.
Just because, like I said, if you go to a camp and you're not on their top 3 or 5 on their recruiting board, then you just help them buy new uniforms the next year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you're thinking if you go somewhere where there's a variety of coaches from all different schools or schools that are comparable to what level you can play at, here's a chance to just kind of network and have these people see who I am.
Absolutely. And the coaches are floating around at this New England Elite camp, or there's like satellite camps, and coaches are going to float around, and you're not making them money. So they're there to actively recruit. They're there to get their team better. And they're going to look and evaluate and watch who can help me. And you're going to make connections to a bunch of coaches. And it's very possible you don't go to the school of a coach you meet there, but you can use those coaches in those colleges as part of your recruiting leverage for other schools. But yeah, I just think go to camps and go to camps that you can get in front of as many coaches as possible, get as much exposure. But the prospect camps, when it comes to like the big D1 schools or even Division 3 schools, I'm pretty against those to a certain extent.
Have you ever felt like you had a kid that was looking into going to like a camp or something like that that maybe wasn't mentally ready? They might be physically ready, but not mentally ready to do it, and had to like kind of had that conversation with them, or
Yeah, for sure. I've had a couple talks with a couple quarterbacks where I'm like, dude, you got it physically. Coaches are gonna love what they see. But if you miss one throw and you hang your head, they're going to see that too. So it's more than just the throws you make, but it's also your demeanor, and that ties into attitude. You got to have the screw it, I'm going to make the next throw mentality. You missed the first 100 throws. Who cares who saw that? Make the next 10, make the next 100. So I've definitely had a couple of talks where I'm like, listen, you're going to these camps. This is what you got to be prepared for. You got to, make sure you keep your head high, stuff like that. So definitely had a couple uncomfortable conversations like that, but in the end, it helps them because when you do something like that and you hang your head after you throw it, you don't notice that.
right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely had a couple of those conversations.
And you don't want to end up just getting your name crossed off a list when the goal
Yeah.
is to get your name on a list.
Exactly.
Just because you made one bad throw and you decided to put your head down because you weren't mentally ready or mentally strong enough at that point in your career to handle it.
Yeah, I think as quarterback, it's more important at quarterback than any other position. You're in a position of leadership, and everyone's going to look at you. So you can't be doing that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.